the 25-minute rule. Because 25 minutes is like the maximum average capacity human can keep their attention to a speaker without having to say, holy shit, this person's talking a lot, and take a 30-second to 3-minute break. One of the issues is this is obvious. This is higher education. We know this for a fact that humans do better with a little short break every 25 minutes for learning. But for some reason, our education, or my education specifically, I hope that it's part of, that there's some sort of like a, certain schools do it this way, certain schools do it this way, certain schools do it this way. Which way works best overall? Like, who had the most successful people, who had the most failures? Because, and then how can we get the best of all the worlds? Like, what's the right things to do rather and remove the wrong things and learn that way. For some reason, so I'm hoping that 50-year thing in the Bible is like, you got to go to 50 years and then we'll give you what you've earned for being part of this experiment that you weren't supposed to know about. Obviously, it's some sort of experiment. Like, you see all this, the science and stuff we had in the 60s, and now we don't. Nothing. Like, it's just god-awful history classes, and they expect you to memorize dates and names and shit that doesn't matter anymore. I don't care what the person's name was. They started a war. They don't need to be remembered for starting a war. That doesn't... We need to learn to not start wars. We need to celebrate the people that died, that had good lives. Not how they died, not who killed them. Leave that shit alone. The Bible tells you not to do this stuff, but then you don't even listen to as you're writing the Bible. Well, it says to blot this person's name from existence. Well, how are you going to know that that person's name needs to be blotted from existence? Leave the name in there. Ah! You put... Yeah, and so now people think that they can get on the news by committing crimes. That's the easiest way to get on the news, do a crime. Got nothing left to live. Hey, we need you to go in jail, and you're going to smuggle some drugs in, so might as well go out big. Ugh, gross. It's horrible. If they would leave off the people's names, then nobody knows why anything's happening. Like, why did we kill those people? Well, some hate group did it. Well, if that hate group doesn't get their name in the papers, then they're not able to spread hate, and they have to figure out better ways. We'll plant a hate garden. That'll at least get your name out and maybe does some good. Well, no, we're trying not to do any good for anyone until only we survive. Okay, you're going to die of boredom and inbreeding. You're going to ruin our species completely because you think your way is going to be better, but you know it's not. Like, well, I haven't been given that information. Okay. That's part of the issue, too. Is, like, so many liars, so that you can't trust anyone. Like the trust but verify comment, even that's horseshit. You can't trust and verify. That's completely different things. You distrust and verify. Until we get dishonesty removed, you always distrust and always verify. Anything requiring trust will never deserve it. That's why the courts don't work in America. We got 3 people that said you did this. Okay, but why? Like, ask them what they did to that one person to get them to do that. Well, we didn't do anything. All we were doing was talking. What words were you saying? Well, we can't remember exactly, but it was something along the lines of blah, 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 aggressive, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, at that point, you're antagonizing the person. If you don't get a way out of their hearing and stop assaulting them, then they're going to retaliate. Hopefully they're... Yeah, I had a car. Like, I was on my bike, and I was in the bike lane, and I was driving along, and this car decided to honk at me. And I should have spit in the car. I should have. They had their windows rolled down. I should have jumped off my bike into the car. Like, holy shit, y'all scared the heck out of me. What's going on? And start coughing and sputtering and like, blah. Why did y'all do this to me? What the fuck's going on? Because I might have gone to jail, but then also they might not have had to go to jail, but hopefully they wouldn't do that anymore. They would have had the one story they needed to have people, well, why did y'all do that in the first place? Like, why are you going around honking at people? It's an emergency horn. It's not a, hey, your ride's here horn. That's a go and knock on the door. You're not honking. You might be honking at the one person, but you're honking for everyone around you. You're honking at everyone around you. You're intending to honk for that person. You're honking at everything that can hear you. It's not up to them to listen. But it's not. You don't have the right to be heard. You have a freedom to speak. You don't have the freedom to be heard. So then you amplify things. It is against city ordinance for amplification to disrupt people's rest. So when you hear that person's exhaust go by beep 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 beep, beep, you call the police every time. When you hear the person's bass going, call the police every fucking time. The people who say, well, you don't narc, you don't snitch. Those are the people committing the crimes, like the murdering people and shit, like doing the whole human trafficking thing, but they're trying to make prostitution legal because then they can say, well, I paid for this guy to have sex with me. I identify as a female. He needs to have sex with me. No, that one does not have sex with people that don't have vaginas. You identify as a female, but if you don't have an actual vagina, then they're not going to fuck you. Sorry, they're trying to make rape legal. I don't understand how you aren't seeing the pattern. Uh, gross. Yeah, don't sell sex. Sex is exercise. There needs to be better. There needs to be one dating app for one thing. You don't need all this garbage. There shouldn't be paying for dating apps. That's the concept of commercials. You're charging someone who can't afford to pay otherwise to watch a video about buying things. Let's talk about methamphetamines, amphetamines. You're giving your kids speed so they'll slow down so they can catch up to other people who they're moving faster than already. The issue is you don't want them practicing music in your house because you don't have enough sound insulation in the walls. You'll have there could be spray foam in all these walls that hardens up and makes everything the equivalent of stucco, not stucco, mortar, Adobe. We could do it with plastics too, like a heat spray plastic foam to lock these plastics into the walls for a few years. Then we'll figure out some ways to heat them up and repurpose them some other time. Like that's all. So you've got because we're not making like we could literally go harvest the ocean for plastics that are clean, that have been cleaned by Mother Nature herself. So now all we have to do is heat that shit up and reuse it. That's all. And maybe we can find. Okay, so graphene. How do you make graphene? How do you make microplastics? You go collect them from the ocean. You don't have to do all this shit that we're doing currently. So we got to figure out a way to make use of microplastics, and it's not going to be difficult because I assume you don't. Even if you can't use a microplastic, you can make it into make it into regular plastic. It doesn't have to stay micro. I had a good dab. It's not THC, less than 3% THC, and so yeah, that's you can either vote to make it. You can vote to get rid of it so that only the dangerous stuff remains legal, or you can work to allow retox, like give people the option of retox instead of only detox in jails and prisons, because they usually get a first one's free when a crime's committed under duress of drugs. They spread it around. Always have a drug stash with you if you're going to commit a burglary, and take that drugs, because you have drugs in your system. When you get caught committing a bank robbery or something like a felony, you can go to a drug rehab instead. The issue is it's detox only. There's abstinence only. You can't learn moderation. Sorry, my alleged father uses his hands, and so I try to honor the parents by spreading some of this stuff, but in a better way than they do. Like for one thing, I'll pick my nose and eat my boogers, but I'm not going to stick my hands in your face after I do it. If I go outside to shop, I'll wash my hands, unless it's been a few hours, in which case it's drying. I'm not going to do it at that point. Especially because it's a mile and a half to the store. I'm going to get so much stuff on the way there, either walking or biking, simply from the air, because of the lack of greenhouses we're doing. We've got enough to be making greenhouses over everything now. It's okay. There's no reason not to do that, except that, yeah, it would make things work better. Less death. thou shalt not kill. It does not only mean humans, like humans killing humans. It means don't kill anything. Anything that don't you don't need to kill cows, especially not as young as we're doing. Like if we're gonna be harvesting them for meat, we can at least let them have a good life first and make jerky out of them. No, the steak, it's the utmost. Eat to live, not live to eat. Wait, live to eat. Yeah, see this whole these expensive restaurants and stuff, rather than charging the same people this money for eating the same shit. No, you've ate your meal for the year, or you've eaten your meal. Now everyone else in the world gets to eat one of these meals before you can. That would be okay. It would make things okay. That people wouldn't have to work as much. That's we do all this shit so everybody's ready to go at any time when a customer comes in. It's not necessary. It's because everybody's hungry and you need to be watching them every time so they're not stealing. Well, if we can get rid of that part, then we don't even need cashiers. Okay, anyway, X-ray techs. I was going to be an X-ray tech, and it's horrible. X-rays aren't necessary except for unless you have a pacemaker. Fluoroscopy is nice in surgery, but I'm very certain we could do MRI fluoroscopy. I don't know what that would magneticoscopy or fluoroscopy is constant X-rays. It's live action X-ray. So it's awesome. You're getting to look inside someone in live action, real time. Holy shit! You're degrading their body the whole time. The whole time. You can't do it during birth, like with pregnancies. They want to. So the training that I had, rather than tell me, "Hey, remember this is a pregnant lady. You're new," or like we see you're new. They waited until after you make a mistake. You that's part of the whole wait until they make a mistake to punish them. If you see them going wrong, though, you let them know ahead of time. Hey, remember, that's called an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Okay, so we're trying to go back to the self-checkout counters and the X-ray tech. Those are the same thing. That is the self-checkout counter. It measures. Okay, the barcode scanner. It measures the size of your arm. The touchpad, it knows, like, you put your information in and it shows you how to position your appendage. Since it's a specific appendage and it weighs a specific amount and it's a specific size. Oh, by the way, there's a scale in that thing already. So obviously for commercial hospital purposes, you would do multiple scales in a bed. So like the bed would have a picture of a person. That's how you'd, for a bed status, for individual things, it'd be a large scale. Anyways, so now you have the size of your arm and you have the weight. Since you know it's an arm, if a size goes a certain thing and based on the length and the weight, you can know if it's fat or muscle. Like that's the job of the X-ray tech, to decide if that person's flabby arm is fat or muscle. We're using graphic words. We're not trying to insult anyone, but if you do tend to carry a lot of insulation on your body to the point that, well, actually, see, because that insulation can help you stay cool in the summer. The issue is forcing females to wear shirts when they don't need to. If you're so manly that you have to go shirtless, you're not a man until you can at least allow for women to do it. At least you can be man enough to not rape a woman going shirtless. That's why women can't go shirtless, because most men are because there's too many rapists. Not even men only, women too. Like everyone, like self-control. If you can get away with it, you have enough. Like if you can get away with it, you'll do it, and that shit needs to stop because it's not. It needs to be a, hey, big brother, I'm about to do something that it's questionable. Can you suggest some options that I can do instead? Or is it even against the rules? If it's not against the rules, then hey, do it. Let's do it. Cool. But it also needs to work to where big brother's proactive. Hey, looks like you're about to commit a crime. Why? Because blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's a good reason. We're going to send some people to help you. Wait a moment. Okay, or that's a good reason. We're going to send some people to get you to this spot because it'll get you to this instead. Because that should help you acclimate. Most social issues, all social issues, in my opinion, can be fixed with two things: distance or acclimation. Acclimation or distance until acclimation. So we need better zoning. There's literally too many people on this planet to be saying, well, I bought this, it's mine. You can't have it, it's mine. I bought it, it's mine. If you didn't bring enough cookies for the class, you can't have your cookie. We learned this in kindergarten, first grade, second grade. Some of these good things, they need to keep going throughout the year, like, because we forget in our youth, and then it doesn't get, and nobody ever reminds us, oh, we told you once, that's enough. That's not a role model. That person's trying to make money off of a new prison that they probably invested in. Ugh. People, civilians should not have access to the stock market. That's not, there's no progress. There's profits to be had, but there's no progress. That's how the government would make its money. Instead of taxing people for existing, you don't need to tax us for existing. You need to pay us for completing education levels. As you complete this education level, you live in this area. As you complete this education level, you're no longer living around so many, like you're getting into more private individual areas because you're trusted to be a human now. You're making kids adults at 13, and you're not learning. You're now waiting until 18, okay? But now we've proven that humans aren't physically grown until 25. So why are we trying to force them to pay for their own educations before 25? They can't do it. We can't do it. It's not right. I passed out in class. I was getting bullied in class. Like they say, well, he's in the wrong job, blah, blah. It's not for them to decide. It's for them to talk to me and decide as a people. Like somebody frogged me in the butt at this UMC hospital in Texas 20 years ago, 24 years ago, 23 years ago. I was 21, 20. I was 20. Okay, 22 years ago, almost 23. Ugh. I gotta find a female proctologist because the camera's gonna be uncomfortable. I don't want the erection to be. Also, people don't. There needs to be video recording. All that stuff needs to be recorded because when a doctor says "oops," that needs to be compensated to the patient. Y'all aren't. The same with the psychiatry. Oh my goodness, y'all let people bait. You'll let the employees say stuff under their breath, and then you wonder why this person got antagonized because they have no way of getting help. They are not in a place of getting help. They're in a place of getting drugged. That's different. You're not helping them. You're trying to make them more complacent. They don't need to be complacent. They're in trouble because they're trying to avoid being abused and being neglected. And you don't listen to their diets. Like the first thing you do in the psychiatric place is ask for their diet. Find out how to incorporate all their necessities into the diet that they currently have and bypass their allergies. Because yes, whether you like it or not, people don't like to eat everything that you do. People won't eat certain things because it's bad for them. They know it's bad for them. Their bodies told them that with various itching or whelps or regurgitations or death. But we can keep forcing them not on them because it's cheaper and more profitable. You're the wrong person for that job. You simply are. You need to practice what you preach and take your own. You need to eat your own shit for a little bit. That's okay. So back to the X-ray tech machine. So it weighs the scans. You got the foot sheet. It's even got an assist button, like the call assist. It's already got that in the software. You don't even have to change some of this stuff. All you got to do is add to it. We keep making new cell phones. There's no difference. None. All it is, but now they're into it's a different color. They got you to buy new shit because it's a different color. You're okay, nothing wrong with you, but you're being manipulated is so basically we're all being retarded. We're all retards because we're being retarded. You should never see a commercial for medication. A civilian that's not. You should never see a commercial for medication. You're not a doctor. You're too stupid. We're too stupid as a species. Sorry. I mean, I say stupid. I mean undertrained, undereducated. We would all be doctors by now. We would all be. But y'all want to make money off of it, and that's so because like everybody would be average if the socialism thing, but everybody would be doctors. That's a good average. Everybody would be scientist, doctor, agnostic, religious aficionados. No atheists exist. Anyone who says they're an atheist is a liar. They are not. They're Yeah, there's no atheists exist. Anyone claiming to be an atheist is a liar. Like, it's that simple. Doubt me. Don't do it aggressively, but let's actually have conversations. Don't make fun of people in these comments. There's no need for it. Definitely ask them follow-up questions about their beliefs. Always be asking follow-up questions. It's great. It lets you learn things about people instead of fight people. If you want to fight people, go to the boxing club, go to the fight club, whatever. This whole don't talk about Fight Club. You need to be talking about Fight Club. There needs to be boxing lessons in prisons. It needs to be teaching people how to do things safely. Look with a referee. I would love to do a neighbor referee service, but I want to do it legitimately so that people don't get hurt. Where we go out, we handicap both players, or we test each player's handicap, and then we allow them to combat. We do it, with spectators if they want, but we definitely going to record it because that's going to pay our overhead. You got to pay for our tickets and put us up for the few days it's going to take. Because the whole goal is talking, is communication. Doesn't have to be speaking. Could be that's part of the handicapping process. You're learning the different ways each other communicate because the neighbor referee service. A couple people probably stay with each of these people for a couple days. It's a intensive service. It's like detox. You don't go to detox, you go to learn moderation because you want to do this chemical. There's no one going to tell you otherwise until you realize you want something else or you don't want to do it or it's not good for you. So we got to get them to that point. Not aggressively by overdosing them though. You don't want to, because a lot of nurses start with injecting things rather than doing smoking. I preferred the smoking because I wanted to filter out stuff always, like as better as possible. And I wanted to find something. And I've read that there's things that the fire doesn't stay in your body, or the exhaust from the flames. You get the chemical benefits, and it doesn't. Cannabis is what I'm referring to instead of nicotine or tobacco. Tobacco is great for maybe between 18 to 21, like as a you're gonna learn to smoke, or you want to smoke but you can't smoke yet. So this is kind of because 1 to 5 cigarettes a day. If you're smoking more than 5 cigarettes a day, you're an addict. Like you're hurting everything that you could ever care about. Uh, they don't want you to smoke less and enjoy. They want you to smoke more and constantly seek enjoyment. There's a big difference. Like 3 to 5 cigarettes. I wanted to smoke for 10 to 15 years because that was, from what I understood, by the age of 18, that was the hot zone. Like you want to quit around that time, or you're likely to get cancer or have given cancer to so many people you smoke. So the second thing is don't smoke around anything you care about. If you smell like tobacco, you're smoking too much. If your car smells like tobacco, why are you smoking stationary in your car? Actually, you should be using the air cyclers. You can also cut an apple in half and leave it in your seat overnight, and it's supposed to suck up a lot of that scent. Don't smoke around your children because that's illegal. You're killing them. You're killing their brain, and it's that's a good point though. What if their brain recovers and is better for it if you smoke like 1 cigarette a week or 1 cigarette a month or 1 cigarette a year around somebody of a certain age? We don't know that as a species because it's got a learning curve. And currently America seems to be like, how cheap can we teach these cattle to where we can keep them functioning as sheep, is like a McDonald's employee, is a sweeper at a hospital. That is a necessary job. You should make as much money as anyone working at that hospital. Everyone at a job should be making the same amount of money. As people's income goes up, it's everyone's income's going up. But it's all about keeping people working jobs that don't need to exist, but you don't want to work them. You want the job to exist to make your product or your ambience, your shit that you're shoveling cost more. And we need to do that better. We need to get rid of the unnecessary jobs. We need to automate as much as possible, as quickly as possible, that universal basic income, guys. So we also need to show people what to do when you're bored, how to do things safely that you're not like Jackass. That's if you anytime that they had the people sign, they paid the people off afterwards. That needs to be punished. Not punished, but that needs to be reprimanded, be acknowledged that, hey, you did assault and you actually bribed people to get away with it. Okay, so what's the issue? Well, the issue is that it needs to be done ahead of time. Hey, we're going to assault you, but we're going to pay you this much, so you can set terms and set standards. And then people, but it's not going to be as natural and as authentic. Okay, you need a better role model because if that's what it takes to get you off is suffering, maybe you don't deserve to get off for a little while until you can adjust some things. Other people's suffering, right? Yeah, if it's your own, if you like pain in certain ways yourself, but can do it safely. Because to me, that's a way of vaccinating. Each time you have some sort of incision, you're letting the world in that otherwise wouldn't have gotten in. And so, if measured ways can be forms of vaccination. So like we do things with the needle now, but that's not necessary. It's all for. I think it's for measuring specifics, and it needs to be claimed as such because we're a very scientific country, but we're also a very. If we can get them to do it on their own, we don't have to acknowledge that it's an experiment sort of country. There's a lot of college, like the whole the person in charge of my child's custody, she would tell people to go and do things abnormal to other, like to a stranger. For like one person sat down at a table and started eating somebody else's French fries. That is one of the mild things. That was one of the stories she was willing to share. And to me, I don't know how to start saying how wrong that is. You're encouraging people to that's my space. Like, no, talk to them, like do it consensually. Consent, moderation, sustainability. We're forgetting that in lieu of profit only. Atheism is a non-profit organization. I like that joke because profit's spelled different and people have to think about it. You don't just do things. You are supposed to do just things. Just is short for justice. It's not a filler word for only or simply or that's mainly. It got. I know. Okay, just watch. I'll show you just synonyms. Fair. So even-handed, impartial, unbiased, objective, neutral, disinterested, similar and opposite words. Adjective. Disinterested. Just. What? See, exactly, precisely. Those aren't just. Those aren't synonyms for just. Just is short for justice. You've allowed idiots that they're trying to make music and they don't know a word that rhymes with this, and they're very brilliant. Okay, I said idiots, but because they're assholes for not. Well, sorry, for not getting a better English teacher. They did for not getting a better language teacher. They're making these fake words because it sounds cool and I like it, but if they include the lyrics in their stuff, because there's also the issue if we don't include our lyrics, our stuff is less likely to get like it's harder for them to copyright or something. I don't know. I've never understood that concept, but for some reason the process is about concealing your information instead of sharing it, and that's an issue because people need to learn from everyone's mistakes so we don't have to repeat them. We're stuck in this loop of trying to fix all these things that have already fixed. Like you've got planned updates. Planned updates are the most. They're okay. So outbound sales caller and planned updates. They're like. I worked outbound sales, and anybody who calls me, I sympathize with them, but I also tell them, hey, you should get a different job, and you should tell the people doing this to look for a different way to make money because this isn't the way to do things. Because all that goes into like the fake emails we have, which okay, there's no reason to spoof your email account to allow that. There's an option for all these emails that they can check display display optional name. If they uncheck that to where it only shows the email that you've received, like the email sender, no more like it's gonna be so difficult to fake emails and spam mails. Like all of a sudden the spam mail starts working. You no longer get all this junk mail that like you don't have to go through your junk mail anyways to get through the stuff that's not junk because everything's honest. There's no dishonesty. You're allowing this dishonesty in email from the start. It's a feature. It's for they're trying to say one of the last reasons I came across it not being done that way is because they say it's not encrypted. There's no encryption in email. This isn't about encryption. This is about disabling the option to allow optional names for the sender or for the sender. That's all it is. If you disable the option to allow optional names for the sender for your email service, all of a sudden you'll notice people are starting getting happier because they're not getting scammed as much. That's a good thing. It's okay. Like you don't want people getting scammed. You want your flock to be your like to be good, to be your equals. You don't you're treating it's we're adjusting some things. But anyways, yeah, stop smoking less. Smoking less is the key. Doing chemicals less, abusing chemicals less, abuse chemical experimentation because that's what it is. It's not chemical abuse, it's chemical experimentation. We're experimenting in ways that you wouldn't. We're not doing anything wrong, but currently it's illegal for some people to do certain chemicals incorrectly or at all. That's against basic human rights. That's against the basic freedom of speech, freedom to do your own damn self. It's because you're teaching abstinence, you're forcing abstinence instead of trying to teach moderation. It's all trying to avoid responsibility. You're trying to avoid, well, if they failed, it's because they didn't learn enough. They I had 3.96 GPA, and that's after one of the teachers that I had, her daughter was in my class, so she tried to make it so everyone got a 0 at least some point in their high school to help her daughter out. And rather that hurts people because we don't get our scholarships that we should have. We don't get any of the help that we could have gotten because everything was we need to punish these people so this person rises above. That's not the way to do things. That's not helping anyone. You're this person's doing the things that they've had done to them, and then you hurt the shit out of them. Don't do this shit again. And it's supposed to show these other people, okay, but all it's showing to them, don't get caught. That's all that they learn from that. You don't punish the one person for a group of people doing stuff and expect good results ever. I'm trying to get people to review the experiment that I'm part of, to say that, hey, he doesn't want to do this anymore. Let him out. He's technical support. Technical support. Oh. Named that movie. Okay. Anyways, we're rambling. Starting to get too many movie references. Yeah, have good days. Appreciate the efforts.